Now that we know what causes mutations, what are some different types of mutations? And the two basic ones you probably went over in intro bio were substitution and frame shift. So a quick review. If, for instance, one of our strands was ATTCGC, we would translate that. Actually, let's make it. So this is our mature mRNA, and we're looking at translation. So we're looking at these 6 letters. Each 3 letters, remember, makes a codon. So AUU, and I have a chart up next to me so I can look this up. AUU, this would code for the protein isoleucine. And CGC would code for, where is CGC would code for? Arginine. However, if there's a mutation, so now my mature mRNA has a mutation. And if it's a substitution, it'll either be one or a few nucleotides. I'm just going to do one. So instead of AUU, we're going to have AGC. So now all of a sudden C has been substituted for an A. So the AUU will still code for isoleucine, but AGC will now code for serine. So if you have a single letter replaced, that is called a substitution mutation. It can be caused by any of those reasons we discussed earlier. It could be spontaneous, it could be a tautogenic shift, it could be a physical factor like radon, it can be a chemical factor, mutagen. Anything can cause this. Once it does, though, you can see it has the possibility of changing our protein. You can also, this would be called a non-silent mutation because we get a change in the protein. So remember I mentioned that a lot of times these changes, these mutations actually don't mean diddly squat. This is particularly important if you think about this last one. So let's say this C were to change to an A. So now we would have AUUCGA. The AUU would still be isoleucine, but now CGA, we're going to get arginine again. Because of redundancy in the code, CGA and CGC both code for redundancy. This means that this codon and this codon both code for the same. Whenever you get a mutation like this, it's considered silent because you didn't even know the mutation happened. Because of redundancy in the code, the same codon, different codons will code for the same amino acid. All right, so that's a substitution. They can be silent or non-silent. The second type is called a frame shift. And once again, this is either one or a few nucleotides. And this can be either the insertion or the deletion of a nucleotide. So if our original code, let's say our original code was, so here's my mature mRNA. If the original code was A, U, C, C, G, A, U, doesn't really matter. All right, so AUC, if we look on our code, this is going to code for isoleucine. And then CGA, did we just do that one? It's going to code for arginine. Don't worry about that last one. Let's say that there's a mutation. And there's a frame shift. So let's say that there is a deletion. That means everything's going to move over one. Now you have A, U, C, G, A, U. So you notice, with this gone, this becomes the new next codon. So codon 1 stays the same, but codon 2 is changed. Matter of fact, every codon here on out is going to change. So AUC will still make isoleucine, and GAU is going to be asparagine. We got a change in our protein structure. We have a different amino acid. So that would be a frame shift because the codon has shifted over 1. It can also go the other way. You can get the addition. So if, for instance, our mature mRNA was G, C, G, A, G, U, U. So if we did the first codon, that would be GCG. That would code for alanine. And then AGU would code for serine. Don't worry about the other U. So if we were to translate these two codons, now let's say a U got inserted in here. Now the first codon will become GCU. This now begins the second codon. So 1, 2, 3, and then G, A, G, U, U. This now is our new translation. So we have our first codon and our second codon. And that U just gets bumped out 1. Everything gets bumped out 1. So now GCU codes for alanine. Actually, we didn't get any change this time by chance. And then GAG is glutamine. So you can see with a frame shift, while the first one may stay the same, everything from there on out is probably going to change because everybody got bumped 1 point. These are your two major types of mutations: substitution and frame shift.